many of you guys are old enough to remember when the border was getting built back in the early 1990s? Okay, that dates me back. I was already like finishing up college, and I was coming back, came to San Antonio, and I was living over in the historic district. And I landed up, my office was in the Camino Real building, which is not the Camino Real building. It was back when behind Easy's, when we had habaneros that just opened up. And those guys, and you had the biggest, fattest burritos in town. Back in those days, you guys remember those bad boys? I mean, they're still here. Those guys are still rolling burritos down there, aren't they? And habaneros? They are, aren't they? Or no, you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Habaneros ain't there anymore?
I never heard of it.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, shit, for those of you guys who remember habaneros, man, they used to roll some big fatties, man. I'm not talking about the biggest, I'm talking like big fat burritos. And they were good, man. In fact, my office was in the Camino Real building. I would leave, man. I would be on the phones working, and I would not leave that office. I would just stay there, and everybody else, I'd go, here's $5, bring me a burrito back, or $7 or $8, whatever it was, and I wouldn't leave. Because the second they all left the office, their phones would ring, and I'd take their calls, and I'd make money, and then I'd let them go get me burritos. So yeah, there was a place called Habaneros right behind, it had 2 locations, but the first one was right behind Easy's, right there on 281 in Bitters. So nonetheless, things have changed, right? It's not even called the Camino Real building anymore. And I'll just tell you guys a little bit of my history of where I come from. I was renting in the Camino Real building right off of 281, just before Thousand Oaks right there. And it was a time back in like 1994, 95, and I was way in over my head. I had a house that I was living in right over off of San Pedro, and they would lock my doors on my office for me because I wouldn't pay rent, because I couldn't afford to pay rent. And so they would literally lock my door on me, and I'd negotiate with the property manager. This is just the world I came from, guys. Just so you guys know, from the early 1990s. So when you guys understand what I'm doing today and how I got here, you guys understand where I came from and the journey I've traveled over the last few decades. And they would literally lock me out. Well, I knew the security guard knew I was full of shit, but he was a cool dude, because what we would do is I would lift up this guy named Ed Pelez on Friday afternoons, because they would lock our door, because I had to do a Saturday training, because on Saturdays we made money. And so I used to lift him up through ceiling tiles like that, and we cut a hole in the drywall that was about that big, and Ed Pelez, a little Vietnamese dude, and he would crawl through there, jump in, unlock the door, we'd do a training on Saturday, and then Monday morning we'd have rent money for these guys. And that's the way it is right here in San Antonio, guys. I came here, I was broke, I was busted, I was trying to make a living, and I was just trying to make it happen. And I knew the whole building knew I was full of shit, and they knew I was doing it, because there'd always be drywall and acoustical ceilings on the floor of the carpet, and I'd be on my hands and knees trying to pick up that stuff. And that's the world that I came from, guys. When I came in and got started, people will look at us and where we're at today in real estate, and they'll wow over it. But the reality is that's not how it started, guys. And there's been a journey. It's been a long journey of over 35 years that I've been self-employed, and 30 years that we've been doing ground-up construction and development. Wow. And it started. A lot of it started right here in Texas, guys. We had an office in El Paso. I had one here in San Antonio. We had one in New Mexico. We had an office in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We also had one over in Jacksonville, Florida. And so for those of you guys getting started, how many of you guys are brand new to real estate and just want to invest in something that you know that you need to be in it? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. How many of you guys have no construction experience, no real estate experience whatsoever? Okay, cool. How many of you guys are brand new to me? This is the first time you guys have ever come in and seen me speak. Great. How many of you guys are brand new to me on social media that just new in the last few weeks? Okay, cool, perfect. There's 8 billion people on this earth, guys. We're marketing and we're evolving and we're growing, guys. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. You know, it's just like a tree. A tree, a plant is either growing or it's dying. You in life, guys, God made everything on this earth to either grow or die. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So the reason that most of you guys are here today is to find out a little more information, figure things out, and you're here because you want a little bit more of something in life. And most of it is a better quality of life and a little bit more money. Does that make sense? Yeah? So today we're going to talk a lot about money, and I'm going to really talk a lot about banking and lending today, because banking and lending is really the biggest cusp that cripples most people in this market. Because nobody, I don't care how much money you make, ladies and gentlemen, there's never enough money there's never too much money that you can have. There's always a limitation. Even where we are today, there's a limitation of how much capital we have. You know, the phone call that I took when I was coming from Austin to San Antonio today for an hour and a half, it was all predicated around money and finances, economics, and what we're doing with our general contractors. How our general contractor is willing to take a $500,000 cut on a $40 million build, because a $500,000 cut of their profit on a $40 million build, because they just don't have labor. He goes, look, Jerome, if we have to do this build and make almost nothing, we're so slow right now economically, we will take it because we know it's an investment in the future of our employees, because we don't want to lay anybody off, because we know we're going through a little hiccup in the market right now in the commercial sector, and if we could just float labor for another year or two, we know we're going to come out of this just fine. We need your project to do that with. So everything, it doesn't matter. These are big institutional builders, guys. These are guys that are building $25 million, $30 million, $40 million developments for us that are GCs. And so when I come in, I talk about that. For a lot of people, you're sitting back going, guys, I just want to build a house. I just want to build a piece of multifamily. I just want a small piece of that. Guys, it starts there. But as I go through the day, you're going to better understand a little bit about what's available to you guys. And I don't want to get too far left or too far right on you guys. I just want to be able to share with you guys a better quality of life for you guys. The reason that I teach this stuff, just so you guys know, is I don't make money doing this stuff right here. I make money in the dirt, but what this does for me is I raise capital through you guys. What I'm doing here today is a 2-year investment in you guys. There's very few people, maybe 1 or 2 of you guys that are in here today that have the financial capabilities of being investors in our projects. But the best investors that come into our projects are those that I've helped go out and make money. Does that make sense? So when I started raising capital for the first time in 2018, I found out how hard it was to raise capital. I always self-perform. From 1997, when I first started building, to today, I just self-perform. Meaning that I use my own capital for my money, my companies, to be able to fund every project. And we took a company from ground up in 1997. When we started building, we had other companies before 1997, but when we first started building in 1997, we were self-performing. I had a shitty credit score of like 460, literally, because all my offices, including the one here in the Camino Real building, all got shut down because the FTC shut down the company that I worked for. And so my credit went to shit back in 1997. We had to start from nothing. And so when we started doing this, guys, if you guys are sitting in a place today where you're financially challenged because your credit's not right, or you guys are just trying to figure stuff out, pay close attention, because I'm going to teach you guys stuff about banks and lending that you guys aren't taught in school. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay? Look, guys, we spend 13,000 hours in school. Okay? From the time we're in kindergarten all the way till the time we graduate. In the 13,000 hours that we spend in school, how much time was taught teaching you guys about finances, about money, about banking, lending? Any? How many general contractors do I have in here? Raise your hand if you're a general contractor. Okay? So we've got probably about 10 of you guys. Now look, the reason the general contractors a lot of times will come in here is because they've been performing for customers and other homeowners, and they're doing business as the GC and those homeowners being customers. But GCs themselves don't understand the banking game. And so because they don't understand the banking game, that's why most of them are here today, because they want to understand, okay, how do I build for me? How do I come in and how do I start making money doing this? How do I come in and how do I bridge the gap? And how do I start? I know how to build, but how do I get money to do it for myself instead of doing it for somebody else? Does that make sense? And so one of the big things, ladies and gentlemen, is that most people just don't understand banking and lending. And because our schools don't teach it to us. How many immigrants do I have in here, guys? How many immigrants do I have in here? Aren't from this country, first generation. Okay, cool. Why did you come to this country, sir?
Better myself.
Better yourself?
My family.
Your family? Why'd you come to this country?
The same, just to better myself, help my family.
Where are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah.
Well,
Mexico as well? Who else, guys? Who else is immigrants? How about you, sir?
Mexico.
From Mexico as well? Okay. Why'd you guys come here?
We received a pretty good offer the company, and I decided to start from scratch.
They told me that you came because everything's bigger and better in Texas. That's what they said. I know Mexico. It's not as big and bad in Mexico as it is in Texas. That's what they told me. They lying to me or no? They talking shit? They tell me the truth. No, this best right, guys. Look, guys, the reason I asked that question is because those of you guys that are immigrants, you guys didn't go through our U.S. education system. A couple of my business partners that I have, like even in Washington State, I have a Pakistani business partner. I also have a Jordanian business partner. And I had a gentleman named Vin Ho that was Filipino. Guys, people come to this country because there's opportunity here. And as bad as you guys sometimes think that our country is, we still live in the best country in the entire world. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? Yeah. You guys, we live in Texas, guys. It's really the only state in the United States that still has that old world U.S. American feel to it. because we still have the old Texas country, you know, the old Texas Rangers, guys. This is it, guys. You know, I was down in Pennsylvania. I was like, hey, Pennsylvania, what happened to you guys? This is where our forefathers landed. This is where our forefathers came and fought for our freedom. Why aren't you guys executing like capitalists? This is what America's built on. It's built on capitalism, free enterprise. But yet, we're built on free enterprise and capitalism. The Rockefellers put our education system together to teach you guys how to go out and be great employees. And the reason I point to you guys, say you guys, because I didn't learn anything in school, guys. I was dyslexic. I spent most of my days in that corner right there. So I'm just like the immigrants. I didn't learn shit in school. Okay? So to my benefit, I kind of think like them. And so I don't have those restrictions. You know, and thank God I didn't. You know, I was always the one that wasn't supposed to make it, but isn't it funny how most of the CEOs in this country are the ones that barely made it through school?
Right.
You know, and it's because of the way they think, guys. And so today I'm going to challenge you guys with parameters that you guys weren't taught. Because a lot of you guys look at lending based on conforming lending. And when we think about real estate, and we think about houses and multifamily, and we look at it from a banking perspective, you guys haven't been taught anything more than go out, get out of school, go buy a house. And buying a house is called conforming lending. You go in, they base it on your credit score and your debt to income ratio. And the reason they do that is because houses, ladies and gentlemen, they're liabilities, they're not assets. You guys hearing me?
Yeah.
A house is a luxury item. It's not an asset. I know it's been sold to you guys as an asset, but it's not an asset. If it does not produce cash, it is not an asset. Okay? It is a liability. And so when we're talking, everything that we talk about today, guys, is going to be based around lending. We're going to talk about comps, and I'm going to talk about pro formas. How many of you guys in here today came in specifically to build multifamily? Raise your hands. Okay? How many of you guys came today specifically to build single family homes? Raise your hands. Okay? How many of you guys know why the fuck you're here today? Have a chair, sit here. You got any coffee? Look, guys. So we're going to build houses. We're going to build multifamily. I'm going to share both with you guys, okay? And I'm going to show you guys how to get banking and lending to both. Now, I'm going to hyper focus a lot on single family homes because that's the core to everything that we've done. And the process of entitlement is very similar. There's a few more engineers that you need. The architecture is a little bit more involved, but it's very minute, especially in the profitable multifamily that there is today. In multifamily today, guys, I'll tell you guys, it's not the big assets that I'm building that have money. I just finished on an hour-and-a-half conversation on the phone with a GC talking about how we're all working for free right now. I'm building this, we have a bunch of them. I'll say this one, I'm like, shit, I got like 5 of them. And really, guys, I'm not going to make money on any of the 5 of them for probably 5 years. Now, don't feel sorry for me. When you see what we do at the end of this, you'll understand why I'm doing them for free for the first 5 years. But we literally are building them for free for the next 5 years. Most people in here can't afford to work for free for the next 5 years. Now, that will make us hundreds of millions of dollars, so I'll do it. But most people can't do it, and they can't even see past the kitchen sink in their room, in their house, through the front door, much less think about what's 5 years down the road. So I got to get you guys to a place where you guys are thinking about assets to make money today. And I want to share with you guys those assets that we're building today that make money. Like we just finished stabilizing a little 31-unit development down in Phoenix. I bought that thing last year. We closed on it the last week of March and broke ground on it the last week of March. We finished it the last week of February. 11 months, full cycle, guys. And that we're all in it for $5 million. The thing is worth just shy of $10 million. How many of you guys would love to build a little 30-unit apartment complex and make between $2 and $4 million in a year doing it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now there's a ladder to climb. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that everything's easy and peachy to do it, right? It's a real business, guys. It's sticks and bricks. It's a real business. We're not putting spaceships on Mars. We're not doing the pet rock. We're not doing any NFTs and selling art bullshit for extended prices and doing stuff like that. This is real construction. It's a real business. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. There's going to be days you wish you didn't start doing it. There's going to be days that you are excited about it. And you're going to have everything in between. It's a real business. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, now, when we go in, guys, we're looking at comps. Now, for homes, we look at comps because there is no income. Pro formas tell us how an asset is performing. This is for multifamily or any commercial asset. Okay? Now, this is what banks are looking at. So we're looking at lenders. Lenders are looking at comps to assess value. They're looking at in multifamily commercial assets, they're looking at pro formas. The pro formas tell us what that asset is performing at today. And what that pro forma is performing at today, the bank is going to lend you based on those numbers. Because they know that if like assets are producing cash at those numbers, they can bank on getting a return pretty darn similar to what they're actually underwriting based on real market circumstances. And based on real market circumstances is how they're going to assess and evaluate how much they're going to give you on a loan. So how many of you guys think it's probably a pretty smart idea to know what the banks are doing on the front end, and if you guys do the same thing the banks do, how many of you guys think you can mitigate risk and have a higher success rate? Yeah, guys, it's just like the casinos in Las Vegas. The casinos function on a 4% on, but yet they're building billion-dollar casinos. That 4% on is what gives them the ability to build those casinos. Just like banks. How do banks make money, ladies and gentlemen? By lending money, right? They make a return on their investment, they charge you an interest rate, and they make money based off the spread of the debt they're paying and what they're giving to you in that same debt. Okay, 10 times over. Yeah. That's how banks make money. So they're mitigating risk. And banks, their job is to mitigate risk. So if you learn how to do things the way the banks do it, do you think you can mitigate risk for yourself?
Yes, of course.
You can, yeah? So let's talk about it, because this is how you get lending. This is how you get money. Guys, I want you guys to stop for a second and just think, okay? Because I'm this broke, young, 20-some-year-old kid back in the day. And I remember building these houses. And I remember sitting back, and I lived in a trailer, in a mobile home, guys. There was a 60-foot-long mobile home. I paid $165 a month for rent. I was going out building houses, and in those era, the upper middle-class homes were right around $500,000. Okay, same in equivalence to the same houses that are being sold today for $800,000, $900,000. Okay, one of the things that you guys have the benefit of here in Texas and here in San Antonio's like a quiet giant, guys. It's like Jacksonville is to Florida. No one talks about Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's like a quiet little giant. San Antonio is like a quiet giant. Nobody talks about it. The only one that recognized this shit back in the day was Red McComb, man. I remember driving through here when I was coming off of I-10 back in 2008, 2009, when there's a market recession and people are just trying to stay alive, and Red McComb is scraping dirt all the way over into Javelina, right over off of the I-10, over by La Catera and the Rim, and all that shit's getting built during the 2008 recession. How? Right? Texas, guys, San Antonio, you guys are a quiet little giant. Nobody talks about San Antonio. It's a quiet giant that you guys can go in and take advantage of. And nobody's talking about it, okay? Be one of the ones that are already building out there. Now, when we go in, guys, I need you guys to understand this. The value of an asset is equivalent to the net operating income divided by its cap rate, okay? Now, this is the way commercial assets are assessed on value, okay? This is the way the banks look at it. This is net operating income. Now, when we look at it, everything is assessed based on cap rate. Who knows what a cap rate is in here, and who knows how to figure one out? One person. Guys, two people. If I gave someone a marker, how many of you guys come up here and figure out the value of an asset off of a cap rate? How many of you guys? Raise your hand if you can do it. I'll just give you a... Good job, though. Okay, she's confident enough to come up here. I like that. You'll do just fine. Okay, now, guys, how many of you guys want to invest in assets? Raise your hand, guys, if you guys want to invest in own assets. How many of you guys want to own rental properties? Raise your hand, guys, if you want cash flowing assets. Keep them up. I want to see. How many of you guys want cash producing assets? Okay, you guys want to buy them, but you don't even know what a cap rate is. Okay? That's the problem. Okay? There's $2.8 trillion of distressed commercial assets on the open market right now. And the reason why is because people didn't know how to assess cap rates, guys. Cap rates are the return on investment. Yep. When you go in, guys, and you buy any type of commercial asset, including multifamily, your rate of return on your money is the cap rate. So if you go out and you spend $2 million and that property produces cash and you pay all your expenses, whatever's left is your net operating income. That net operating income, what it gives you in return on your investment after everything is paid except for the debt, is going to be your cap rate. It's your rate of return. So it's the equivalent of going in and buying stock in one of the big blue chip companies. Something like Intel, something like big blue chip stock. Yeah, what's up?
I can't hear you because there's a phone over here that's going off.
Oh, guys, if you guys have phones, just turn your phones off, guys. You know, just turn your phones off. The babies, I don't mind. I don't mind. I have guilt. Hey, guys.
We're trying to hear.
Hey, guys. Hey, you guys come to see a fight? I'll stop working if you guys put some gloves on. Shit, if you guys put some gloves on, I'll stop, man. I'll watch. Right? Or let's learn, guys. Stop crying and bitching and let's go. You guys ready to go? Or you guys want to continue bitching and complaining? If you guys want to take over, you can take over. Or I'll kick you guys both the fuck out of here. Okay? Or let's just go, man. You guys want to learn? You guys want to fight? Because I'm the best fighter in here.
It's a business meeting, like he said.
Okay? All right. So, let's do it, guys. I get it, man. Let's do it. All right? Let's be kind to each other. Can we do that? Yes. Can we do that? All right. Let's be kind to each other, man. Let's make this happen. I can talk louder than anybody's fucking phone in here anyways. Okay? So let's just go. Now, when we go in here, ladies and gentlemen, understand this. Understand this, guys. When we're coming in here, guys, the cap rate is equivalent to a return like in the stock market. It's exact same equivalence. When you go in and let's say you invest in Intel, or you invest in ExxonMobil, or Boeing, or any of the big blue chip companies, guys, let's say you make an 8% return on your investment. That return on investment is the equivalent to the cap rate in real estate. Does that make sense? Okay, now, when we talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about this, think about it from this perspective. Can you pay an interest rate or debt service on an asset that is less than the cap rate? Yes or no? No, right? Like, you have to at least make a rate of return that affords the debt service itself. Okay?
Right.
So you have to be able to afford the debt. So when we're talking about a cap rate, ladies and gentlemen, you have to put yourself in a position where the cap rate is higher than the debt service. So what happened in 2020 is this, guys. What were the interest rates in 2020? About 3%, give or take? Sub 3%? Okay. So yeah, some of it was sub 3% interest rates back then. Interest rates and cap rates have to run in alignment with each other because you have to be able to service the debt on these assets. So one of the big things is putting yourself in a position where you know you can service the debt service on it. So those people that can stabilize lower interest rates long term are the ones that win. And so when we go in, guys, in 2020, let's say that we had a little 10-unit development, okay? Let's say that 10-unit development based on average rents of about $1,750 a month. Let's say that for sake of example, those rents brought us in about $210,000 in revenue, okay? Gross revenue. Now, by the time we pay property taxes, insurance, you guys even have mud taxes here in Texas. Be careful for mud taxes, guys. Mud taxes are like property taxes. They are property taxes, they're former property taxes. They're unique to Texas, and a lot of them are on waterways, but you don't even have to be on a waterway, and you can be assessed mud taxes, and they're about double what your property taxes are. So if you guys aren't familiar with mud taxes, know what mud taxes are, you're in Texas, okay? So if you don't know what they are, always assess mud taxes. Now, after all your expenses are paid, guys, let's say that there's $108,000 that's left over. That $108,000 is your net operating income. Now, if we go in and we divide that $108,000 divided by 3, pull out your phones, guys. Help me out here. 3.6? 3.6 billion? Okay. The value asset of $108,000 divided by 3% is $3.6 million. That's the value of our asset in 2020. Now, has interest rates went up? Have interest rates went up since 2020? Yeah. They have, haven't they? Where are interest rates today? 6.5, 6.5%? Okay. So banks are looking at it from a debt coverage ratio. So the banks want to make sure that you can cover the debt on the asset. So based on debt coverage ratios, the banks are looking at debt service at about 6.25% today. 6.25%. Now, based on that, let's say we have the same asset, same 10-unit development, and we go in, and this 10 units still has the same tenants, same occupancy, same floor, same roof, same wallpaper, same everything, okay? If we take that same $108,000, let's even increase it. Let's say that rents went up, and let's say our net operating income is even $120,000. let's say that it went up by $12,000 a year, okay? We take $120,000 and we divide it by a 6.25% cap rate to cover our debt. What is that value? 120,000 divided by 6.25%. What is the value of that asset? $1.9 million, guys. 2026. 6 years have gone by, and the value of this exact same asset is half the value of what it was in 2020. That's why there's $2.8 trillion of financially distressed assets on the open market today, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think it'd be a good idea to know this before you build one?
Yes.
Probably so, right? How many of you guys, the importance of understanding the cap rate just went up?
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you want to go out and you guys want to build this stuff, you better know this shit. Because the reason people get in trouble is because they don't know this. It's like fix and flipping, guys. Like fix and flipping is probably the worst business model you can ever do in your entire life. Because there's no way to assess it. You're going in, you're taking fair market comps, you're buying a house that's already a fair market comp. You're going in, you're dumping more money into this house. You don't even know what's behind the fucking walls. And then you open up the walls, and then you get a lot of surprises. Then you go in, you've add more money to it, and then you want to sell it above market value. That's a stupid business model. I don't understand it. You know? Now, I know a lot of you guys do it. I don't mean to insult you guys that are doing it, but if there was money in fix and flips, guess what I would be doing? Okay? So the reason I don't fix and flip is too much liability. The other reason is there's not enough profitability. The average fix and flip makes about $40,000, guys, between $30,000 and $50,000. And so if the average fix and flip does that, guys, it's like playing Russian roulette. You get a 6-barrel chamber, you stick a bullet in one chamber, you hit the revolver, and sooner or later, guys, one of those projects is going to leave you for broke. And so I just tell you guys, don't do it. What's great about new construction is it's controlled variables, and it's all based on comps. So when we go in, guys, let's build this out. Let's build out these comps right here, okay? Now, this is the way multifamily works. We can't do this with single family, so we use comps, okay? This is the way commercial assets work. Now, we're gonna go back here at the end of this. You guys need to know this. You guys have to know how to underwrite this, because if you don't, you can get yourself in a very compromising position. I don't want any of you guys in that position. I need to know that each time you guys break ground, you guys are gonna be profitable, okay? Because if you're not profitable, you guys can't invest in my other projects. Does that make sense? The reason I do this is to raise capital, guys. Iron sharpens iron. The Bible tells us so. And so I'll tell you guys that if I don't help you guys make money, you guys are worthless to me in 2 years from now. I'm gonna set you guys up for a 2-year revolution where you guys can come in and make some money, guys. Because the only way that the banks are gonna allow you guys to get into multifamily is you have to resume into the projects. If you don't have a resume that allows you into the projects and you don't have the experience, it doesn't matter how much money you have, the banks will not lend you money on the commercial assets. So you have to resume into them, okay? Now, when we go in and we resume into these projects, the only way, how many of you guys would love to build a 30-unit, 40-unit, 50-unit development, guys? They're small, but they're good, but the bank still won't lend you. You have to resume. So when I raise capital from you guys get paid out just like every other investor. And not only do you guys get paid out, but you're a limited partner, meaning that you have ownership in that asset. So you have rightful ownership. You can put that on your resume. Now that allows you to be a part owner of a 150-unit, 200-unit, 250-unit development that I take the liability on. And now you guys have the ability to put that on your resume and resume up to it. So a lot of you guys will see my shirts. I have one on this morning. It said resume up. And so that's what that means. That slogan, resume up, is a banking term that's required for you to be able to go in and benefit from the attributes of lending that banks allow you to, provided you have an asset that pencils. Make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah? Yes. Okay. Now, let's go in. Let's talk about single family homes. Everything we talk about today is based on the upper median and the upper middle class, okay? So this is the upper middle class, guys. This is 24% of home buyers right here. Now, the median home buyer constitutes for 74% of all home buyers. Then there's the ultra wealthy. These are only 2% of all home buyers. We don't function on this sector right here at all. And the reason why, guys, is the market is too volatile in that market sector. What happens, guys, is when you hear on media and you hear on the news that there's market volatility, it's these guys right here they're talking about. When you hear there's market compression, they're talking about the D.R. Hortons of the world. Why? Because D.R. Hortons, the largest builder, skewed like by a substantial amount. Okay? They are the most dominant builder in the United States by far. By 2/3 greater and bigger than any other builder. So when you guys are going in there and you guys are assessing market values, it's these big guys that are getting, I'm gonna kill myself on that thing. If I fall on it, then laugh, okay? Shit. Okay, now, when we go in, guys, 24% is a large enough market pool, and here's the thing about the upper middle class. Guys, these are the doctors, the scientists, these are the self-employed people that own the nice restaurants, the supply houses, the contractors that own the electrical companies. These are the physicians. These are all the people that do better. They're not rich, guys, but these are the people that make $500,000 a year. They make $750,000 a year. They're taking home a premium. They're doing well, okay? They're not the ultra wealthy. The ultra wealthy is not what we're talking about. We don't function here because there's not enough markets here. This is too much risk, guys. I don't want you guys here because if you get stuck in one of these, you'll go bankrupt on one bill. Okay? So I don't want you guys here. I want you guys paying attention to this right here. These are homes that are in excess of $800,000. And here in San Antonio, guys, you guys can go up to $2.5 million. I'll tell you that the sweet spot here is right around $1 million to $1.5 million, guys. And I'd stay there. You know, just like the story I was telling you guys about me living in that 60-foot long trailer that I was paying $165 a month for, guys. Some of you guys sit back and go, I can't afford $1 million home. Yeah, you can. You can afford to build one. You might not be able to afford to live in one right now, but you can afford to build one. I was building these before I could afford to live in them. I remember building my houses, and I tell this story. And truth be told, guys, I remember going into my own homes, and I was like, damn, it'll be nice. Like, I looked at the baseboard, and I was like, good. I remember one day I walked in, I was like looking at the baseboard, I was inspecting one of the toilets that was cracked in one of my houses, and I remember looking at the baseboard, the molding we used in the house, and I remember looking at it going, damn, just talking to myself, going, damn, one of these days I'll be able to afford a house this nice. And it was just the flooring in the baseboard. And there was just something relevant about that. I still just remember that day. And I was in my young 20s. I just remember like having this moment that I was like, damn, one of these days I'll be able to afford to live in this house myself. But I was making money doing them, guys. And I was still living in a trailer doing it. So a lot of you guys will mentally cusp yourself thinking you guys can't afford to go into it because you can't personally afford to live in that house. There's a contrary to that, guys. You can afford to build them if you understand banking. But I didn't know that until I understood how banking and lending work. But every single person in here can get a loan for $1 million to go down and get $1 million construction loan. Let's learn how. Let's go through this. These guys right here, guys, are responsible for 16% of the total market of cash purchased homes. 18% of all homes in the United States in today's market are purchased with cash. Back in 2020, when interest rates were low, only 4% were purchased cash. Why? Because money was free. Like, fuck, 3%? Shit. I'm not going to spend my own money. I'll use the bank's money. Okay? But when you go into today's market, guys, and interest rates are a little higher, people will go in and they'll pay cash rates. They don't have to pay the interest rates. And so out of the 18%, 16% of the 18%, these guys are the ones buying them right there. That's why that market is stable. In 2008, guys, when I went through the recession, we didn't really feel it until about October, November of 2008. We had a real estate company, a full brokerage firm. I had a full-blown concrete company. We still own that concrete company today. We still pour mud every single day. We had our full development company. We were building retail centers. We were building homes. We were doing about 55 to 60 homes a year in that era. I owned restaurants. We owned coffee shops. We owned dance schools. We owned all kinds of shit. And I'll tell you guys that one business continued to perform. Nothing else made money. Between November of 2008 and April of 2009, nothing made money except for one business, guys. One business. Guess which one it was? No, concrete didn't make no money, man. It was the first time I was like, shit, phones didn't. I would walk into the office and I would tell them, I can't tell Tammy still works for me. I'd be like, tell Tammy, I was like, the phone's broken? I was like, call, it wasn't Xfinity at the time, it was Dex Media and with Dex Media and all that. I was like, call the phone company, man. And I pick up the phone, it's like, there's a dial tone. Our phones, guys, you can't go to our office, you can't get off the damn phone. And in 2009, man, the phones, it was like crickets in our office. I was like, it just scared the shit out of me. It was like weird. It was like so taboo for our office not to be busy. And it was weird because it was outside of our control. I was like, okay, like you can burn some sage, rub some hands, you know, sing some seances, sit and sing Kumbaya. The phones weren't ringing, okay, period. And so the only thing that kept performing, guys, the houses kept selling. I had 48 homes, guys, that were either done, under construction, or near completion that we had when we were moving through the 2008 recession. We ended up finishing all of them, and when we went through this, guys, we were starting to fire sell the houses. We were like, just fucking sell them. I was like, just sell them, just get them off our books. Let's get that money back in. And we started buying Subway stores. We went from 0 stores to 15 stores in less than 2 years. I was one of the largest Subway franchisees in Southern Colorado and Central New Mexico for over a decade. Not because I wanted to become a sandwich artist, guys. I didn't sit back and go, I want to make sandwiches, God. Like, can you give me someplace? You know, I didn't do that. I had empty retail centers, guys, that I couldn't lease. Wow. And I put Subway stores in them because I couldn't lease the damn spot. I became an Aveda certified salons, and I put salons in all my buildings. Why? Because they produced the income and they paid the damn rent, guys, and my mortgage payment. But this shit took me a few years to do. And I remember still, late as day, my dad did my accounting, my dad did my books. He was an accountant for 32 years, and he worked for me for a little over 20 years running my books. And he was doing it in January of 2010, because this started this started in November of 2008, all the way through 2009. We were fire selling homes. When we were doing our 1099s in January of 2010, my dad came to me and he said, hey Jerome, I hope you have money set aside for taxes this year. And I said, Dad, I don't have to worry about that. I didn't make no money last year. It was a 2008 recession. I was like, shit, we didn't make nothing. And he goes, no, you have an $800,000 tax bill coming in April. I didn't know this shit back then, but I'm teaching you guys today. So I go, what? I go, I don't know, there's no way, it's impossible, Dad. I can't have an $800,000 tax bill. He goes, no, you have an $800,000 tax bill. You better have some money set aside. And I told my dad, there's just no way. So we audited the books. We went back and we looked at every single house that was sold. We sold 47 homes that year in 2009. The lowest profit that we took on any home was $47,000 on one house. The second lowest was $52,000, guys. The next house, every single house outside of that, we made over $80,000 on it, guys. 100% of them. And so I sat back and I called all my subcontractors and I said, hey guys, we're gonna keep building. I'm gonna tell you something, and we were in a housing crisis, guys. Yeah. Because the housing crisis was getting hit by these guys right here. Not these guys. These guys weren't. These guys were fine. They wanted a good deal. But we figured something out, that if you gave a good quality product during the recession, people still needed homes. And they were still buying. But it was these guys that were buying. So when I tell you guys, focus here, focus right here, guys. Because so far, in the last 30 years I've been building, this has never let me down. In fact, after a decade of the Subway stores, guys, I get chills when I say this. Man, those things were such a pain in the ass. We had over 200 employees. We had 9 employees in every store. Plus we had regional managers and the whole 9 yards, guys. I had guns pointed at my managers' heads, to their temples. I had rocks thrown through windows. They break in and steal, druggies would steal our cash registers for $100 that was in the register. I mean, this shit went on like almost daily. Like one of the stores was getting hit and robbed almost daily. And I was told my wife one day, I was like, you know what, I'm done with these freaking Subway stores. And so what we ended up doing, guys, is I said, I'd rather just build houses and sit on them with no employees, because this way I make more money off of one house than I do off of all my damn Subways. So I could build 4 homes in a year and make more money building 4 homes with no employees than I do on 15 Subway stores. So that's what we did. We sold them all in 2018, and we were going into big multifamily at the time. Now, let's underwrite this. Now, when we go in, guys, I already know your areas. You can go down to like Hollywood. You guys can go down to La Cantera. You guys can go down New Braunfels. Josh is building over in New Braunfels. We have Victor and Linda that are building over in the La Cantera area. What other areas, guys, here service the upper affluency, guys? What other areas? I know the areas. We have builds going on all over. But what other areas function and get the upper affluency here in the San Antonio market, guys?
The Lotus.
The Lotus, yeah. Where else? Burning. Okay, where else? Burning was like a nothing place. Like I remember going up to Lake Medina. I ended up buying a lake house over on Lake Medina, guys. I lived on Lake Medina for a long time, so I used to go. All the cops knew me. Every single one of them in Bernie pulled me over and gave me a ticket. Everyone, you know, middle of the night, we're hauling ass through there, man. And we go up there on our Harleys. When I had my motorcycle stuff back then, I still have my motorcycles. But man, everything. Bernie was like a nothing place. Now Bernie's like Like it's the place, man, to be building, right? And so, guys, you guys can go in. Let's underwrite one of these. And I'll just tell you, we already have like market comps in our own products with our own community that's even here today, guys, that you guys can talk to here in a little bit. But let me run you through this real quick, okay? Yeah, you do not have one. Okay, now, when we go in, let's talk to AI. $1 million homes for sale by La Cantera in San Antonio. Let's just go into that one. Okay. Now, actually, before we do that, let's ask AI this, watch, because I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. I get too comfortable here because we already know the market so well over here. If I wanted a new constructed home in the safest neighborhood in San Antonio, Texas, with low crime rates and great schools, that was new construction and upper affluency, where would I move?
For new construction in a safe, affluent San Antonio area with good schools, consider the far north side, outside Loop 1604. Specifically, look at neighborhoods like the Dominion, George's Ranch and Bourne, or the better areas of Stone Oak. These offer low crime and gated security.
Got it? Okay, some of the same areas I was just talking about, yeah? Okay, guys, you guys can park yourselves in these areas and build for the rest of your careers, get wealthy in one little area, and not even move from there. I built my first 15 years within a 1 mile radius, and we have built over 600 homes in a 1 mile radius, guys. I never left that market until the 2008 recession hit. 2008 recession hit, we moved to another area that I still build in today, back in 2009, 2010, and I'm still building that area today. Guys, you don't have to go very far. You can just sit in your own backyard and just build in a little micro area, in your own little community, and go no further than that right there. Does that make sense? Okay, now, when you guys go in to do that, $1 million homes for sale in the Stone Oak area near San Antonio, Texas. Okay, so we go in, let's go into like,
Stone Oak area near San Antonio, Texas, you can find luxury homes for around $1 million, especially in gated communities. These homes often have 4 to 5 bedrooms, 3 to 5 bathrooms, large lots, and modern amenities.
there you go. What do you build? Right there, AI is telling you. I love AI, man, what shit. Okay, now, we're going back to comps, guys. Let's underwrite this on getting money. You guys ready to get some money? Yeah? Okay. Now, let's underwrite this and let's back into this. When we're looking at comps, we're looking at the highest price per square foot, and we're looking for the lowest days on market, okay? This is what de-risk projects right here. Now, do not go into areas that are selling for less than $285 per square foot. There's no money here, guys. You're not gonna make it. That's like fix and flipping. Let D.R. Horton, Pulte, and all these guys, let those guys function in that area. That's not your market. When you go in and we assess comps, you have to be over $285 a square foot. Otherwise, you're putting yourself at the same risk that fix and flippers do. The margin variance of equity is too small. It's so small that it's even high risk for the banks, meaning that the banks are going to require you to come to the table with more money. Make sense? Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about this, you have to be in excess of $285 a square foot. Now, the banks are going to look at price per square foot, and they're going to look at the square footage of the homes. Now, when we go in, they're going to assess their comps based on these two things right here. So let's take, for example, let's go into some of these areas, and let's take this. Let's do some comps. Now, when we go, the banks are looking at this, guys. They're looking at product that's 300 square feet, plus or minus the square footage that we're comping at. They're also looking at comps based on a 1 mile radius, okay? So anything within 1 mile of that property, okay? The comps have to support this. If they don't support a 300 square foot variance and you're building some out of these parameters, you can't get comps. The banks aren't going to lend you money because there's no data on that product. You need to build what that market wants. What I build here is going to be different than Austin. What I build on one side of town is going to be different than the other side of town. What we're building over in La Cantera, in the Stone Oaks area, is slightly different than what we're building over in New Braunfels. The products, the price of the homes, everything's slightly different. When you go in, people ask, what do I build, Jerome? You build based on the data. The market will talk to you. You don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel. You just have to go in and listen to the market. Everything that we do, guys, 100% of everything that we do is data driven. Just like this room. I knew there was gonna be 100 people in here. How did we get so close on the chairs? Because everything's data driven. When I do my marketing, I know how to market, guys. We know how to fill these seats. We know exactly how many people are coming out based on data. We know what to build based on data. You guys try to go out and function based on hopes, dreams, and some bullshit that I don't know what you're doing. Do it based on data, guys. And if you back into it based on data like banks do, you're not gonna lose, okay? So when we go in, guys, everything is data driven. So when we go in and we look at price per square foot, let's take, for example, some of these are more like program homes. Let's go in for some custom builds. Okay, let's go in for custom builds. Let me put a filter on this. The only filter I care about is that it's a new build. Let's go in and put, I don't care what the price is, I'm gonna let the data talk to me, but I'll just put 2024, 2026, and let's go new build. Okay, next, let's apply. Let's do San Antonio. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go in. Here we go. Homes, Loop 16. Okay, now, guys, I want you guys to be patient for a second because I'm going to build this out. You guys want to understand how banks lend?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this based on how banks lend, guys. Now, I need you guys for a quick second to just watch what I'm doing here. It's not going to take me an hour like it would be if you guys have and hired a buyer's broker, okay? We don't look for land, ladies and gentlemen. When we go in and look for a profitable area. We look for an area that supports profitability, first and foremost. Then, once we find a demographical area that supports profitability, then we go in and look for land in that area, okay? Now, once we go in and we find that, then we go in and we don't go and call the selling broker. In most areas, guys, the selling broker is not allowed to perform dual agency because they can't do their fiduciary duties. The biggest problem that our community has, and I didn't realize this, they land up calling the selling broker to try to retain a lot. You have to have a buyer's broker that works for you. The seller's gonna pay them. They're the one that's gonna pay their commission, not you. They're working for you for free. So you're gonna go in and onboard a selling broker. How you guys doing? You guys weren't bargaining for this much information, were you? You guys didn't know you guys were coming in and getting trained like this, did you?
Good.
You guys like this, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Get your toothpicks out and hold your eyelids up. This is like school on steroids, okay? But this shit will make you money, okay? Now, when we go in, you guys good here? Got your attention?
Yeah.
You guys good, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want more?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
We can end right here. You guys
No.
want
Come on.
Keep on moving.
Let's get it.
All right. Now, when we go in, guys, I'm going to go in. Let's take a look. Now we're going to look at price per square foot. Okay? Where are you looking? I'm looking at the Stone Oak area. I'm going to look up.
AI or what?
Yeah, I'm just on Zillow. So if you guys just go in, we'll do it again with you guys. So if you just go in, you're just going to ask for like $1 million homes for sale. Okay? So $1 million luxury homes in the San Antonio market. Okay, so if we go into Redfin, Zillow. Now look, guys, you're not going to do this on your own. You're going to have your buyer's broker get you real data. I'm going to do this as a simple theoretical example because I don't have time to sit here for an hour and evaluate comps. I'm just going to go in to show you what the banks are doing so that you guys understand what they're doing. We're doing it here in theory, but the realtors are going to be your advocacy of giving you the comps that the banks are going to need. Because guess where appraisers get their numbers from? They get them from comps, from brokers, okay? So the comps are going to come from them. Now, when we go in, some of these houses are a little small. Let's go to this one. Okay, so we go into this one. This house, let me find some that fit our business model. This is perfect. Here's one over at 222 3rd Street in Bernie, Texas. You know, I'm dyslexic, guys. I'm not read what the shit. I can get rich doing this stuff. 878, guys. Put in $878,000 into your phones. Okay, $878,000. Divide that by 2365. What is my price per square foot? 878 divided by 2365. 371. Okay, let's look at another one over in Bernie. Okay, this other one in Bernie. This is on Deeds Elkhorn. Okay, this one right here is $882,000, okay? So put in 882, and this one is 2410 is the square footage, 2410. What's the price per square foot? 365? 2410, okay? Now, let's find another one here. That's 1200, that doesn't fit, that's not within 300 square feet. 1586, 1900. Okay, let's go into some. Okay, this one is better. Okay, so this one is $1,080,000. $1,080,000. This house is 3,854 square feet. 3,854. 3,854. Okay, this is off by our 300 square feet. So let's just go in. What's our price per square foot? 280? We can't use that. That's 280. We can't use that. That's no good. Okay, let's get out of there. Okay, now let's go in. Oh, this one's $980,000. Okay, so plug in $980,000 and divide that by. This one is 2696.
363.
363. Okay, let's find one more, guys. Let's find one more. Okay, this one is 874,900. Just put in 875. Put in $875,000. This house is 2395. 2395. 2395. What is it?
365.
Okay. What was it again? 365.
Yeah.
Okay, 365 a square foot. Okay, so these are our comps, guys. Now, when we go in and we evaluate these, let's go in and let's add these up. And there is going to be skewed comps like this sometimes. You just cross them out. If they're outliers, just cross them out. The bank's going to do the same. So when we go in, guys, we want like properties. Okay? Now, the data is going to tell us what to go in and build. So we're going to go in, and it's going to tell us our sales price. 371 plus 365 plus 363 plus 365. Divided by 4 is 341, right? No, wait up. That's
366.
Let me see. So we go 371 plus 365 plus 363 plus 365 equals divided by 4. Okay, so that's 366. Okay? Now, that's our price per square foot. Now, what we're going to build is we want to build something that's like these other ones that are selling for a price that's profitable. So we take 2365 plus 2410 plus 2696 plus 2395. We're going to divide that by 4. That's going to be 2466. 2466. Okay? Now, is that about the right prices and the right square footage in Bernie? I mean, those are all out of Bernie. Is that about what Bernie's selling for?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Yeah.
There's smaller ones. I saw a ton of them. And then there's some bigger ones in there that are over 4,000 square feet. I didn't see anything much over like 4,500 square feet that's for sale in that price range. Okay? But more or less. Okay? So these are real numbers, but we're going to let the broker come in. So now we're building this at 2466. That's going to be our price. Now, if we take 366 a square foot
902
times 366, that's 902. Okay, so we have a $902,000. This is our resale price right here. Okay, this is our resale price. Now, when we take this $902,000, we can't pay more than 15 to 20% for the land, guys. This is our max price right here for the land. I don't care what the land is listed for. You can't afford to pay more than 20% for the land. You have to back into the land on what you can afford based on the build and the resale value in that market. So if this is what the market is giving to us in 902, we take $902,000. Let's put downward stress on the business model and let's build it. Let's pay the maximum amount times 0.2. That's $180,000. Can you get land up in Bernie for $180,000 for a lot? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, you sure damn can. You can get them for $150,000 a lot. Okay?
With utilities or without?
With utilities. Yeah, with utilities. Yeah, no, if you don't have utilities, it's that the price minus the cost of the utility. Septic tanks are okay, guys. You afford that into the cost of the bill. okay? But if you're drilling wells and stuff like that, the wells are expensive, guys. You have to be able to go in and do a reduction in price based on the cost of the well, okay? Or we go in, if we're pulling power, same thing. Retaining walls and stuff like that, right? When we were talking and we were doing Victor and Linda's bill, they came to me and they're like, shit, we're gonna have to do a bunch of retaining walls. I told them you can't afford to do retaining walls. I was doing a build at the exact same time. Victor called me and he goes, Jerome, I'm gonna have to do a bunch of retaining walls. And I go, Victor, I said, you guys can't do the retaining walls. I said, let me do a video for you on how to set this property up where you don't need retaining walls, because I have a house that I'm doing right now the same way. Send it back to video. Did he show you the video I put together? No? So all we did is cut and flip dirt, and we went in. Because if you have to do retaining walls, it comes out of your profitability. Or it comes out of the land price. So if you can't get it out of the bill, you take it out of the land. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now, buy flat land when you first get started. That's all I gotta tell you. Buy flat land. There's plenty of it out there, okay, even in the hill country. Now, when we go in, guys, we have $180,000 for the land. Our cost to build. Let's talk about our cost to build, okay? Now, we can go in and the average price per square foot nationwide, that includes this stuff right here, guys, is $141 a square foot according to the National Association of Home Builders. You're not building this product for $141 a square foot. It's gonna cost you more than that. You can build, your raw build cost will be between $155 and $160 a square foot, okay? That doesn't include swimming pools, but that includes the raw build cost of your build. Now, if you have to hire a general contractor, which most of you guys will, I hire general contractors. I've been a self-performing general contractor for over 30 years. But I built in 11 different cities across the United States. We've built in excess of over 20 different cities throughout the course of time. And the way we've been able to do that is I take off the GC hat and I give it to somebody else. So I function under the exact same business model that I tell you guys to function on, for a different reason, but I still function under the exact same business model. I hire general contractors for bandwidth. You guys are going to have to hire general contractors because they're going to vet your experience for those of you guys who don't have the experience. Otherwise, you can't get a loan. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So the GC is going to vet the experience to get the loan that you need to build the product. Now, when they go in and they do that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to cost you a premium. So let's say that it costs you as much as $180 a square foot to build out that house. Okay? How much were you guys into Victor and Linda's house for? Now that was a $1.4 million house, right?
Correct.
You guys are all in, excluding your fee. What's your raw cost on that? About 160, 165?
Roughly.
Right in there? Okay.
Roughly.
So when you guys go in, guys, with the GC fee and everything, let's go ahead and underwrite this so we're a little bit more conservative at about $180 a square foot. Now, when you go in, there's several different ways you can pay your general contractor. It's called the process of 30. I'm not going to run through that today because I could spend an entire afternoon just on that. I will get you guys there. We just don't have time for all of that today. Now, when we go in, guys, we have $180 a square foot multiplied times the 2466. So we go in, we multiply this by 2466. That's going to give us 434. Okay, what's called 434. This is our cost to build right here. Now, this is what we need from the bank, guys, to build this $902,000 house. So we're going to need the additional $180,000 is $623,000, $624. So we need, let me write this in a different color, okay? I'm going to put this over here. Now, we're going to need $624,000. This is what we need from the bank right here, okay? Pay attention to that number. It's going to come up a few times. Now, we still are not done. We got our closing costs. Our closing costs are 6% of 902. So what is 6% of 902, guys? What is 902? So 902 times 0.06, that's 54,000, yeah? 54,000? Yeah. You guys get the same number?
Yeah.
All right. Now, our loan on this, guys, on this, we're only going to have a loan for this amount here. It's going to be about $30,000. You're going to have about a $30,000 note on this. Okay. This is your debt service. Okay. Now, I don't even care if you guys get a high interest loan. This is a short-term loan. I don't care if you guys get a loan, it's 10%, 9%, 11%. It doesn't matter, guys. Just get the damn loan, build the damn house, sell the damn thing, and get your money out of it, okay? When you guys come in, you guys might be at higher interest. You guys will be able to go in and get these loans at like 6.5%, 7% in due time, and some of you guys will be able to get those from the front end when you first start building. But if you don't, like Alec, my camera guy, I told my entire team last year, I said, if you work for me, you have to build a house. Everybody has to build a house. I told everybody on my team that. If you guys follow my social media, you guys know I've been documenting it. So that's why, Steven's been building for a few years, but Josh started building New Braunfels. He has a house coming out of the ground. We have his beautiful architect here. We have his awesome general contractor here. His beautiful general contractor here as well, right? And so these guys are already doing work right here in the local area, guys, under the same business model that I'm explaining to you guys right here today. Victor and Linda, same thing. You know, Robert, I don't know if Robert's here, same thing, you know? And so when we go in, guys, we're going in and we want to go in and service only the debt that we need. This is what's called a non-Dutch loan. This is non-Dutch lending, meaning that they'll only charge you interest on what you actually take from the bank. So the bank might give you 624, but they're only going to charge you interest on the 180 when they fund the land. They're only going to charge you the 180 plus the cost of the dirt when you draw the money for the dirt. The bank ain't going to just drop $624,000 into your bank account. They're going to lend it to you based on draws and percentage of completion of your build. Okay? Now, when they do that, guys, we're going to be looking for this number right here. Now, let's see what our profitability is. We go in, we have 180 plus 434 plus 54 plus 30 is 698. This is our total cost, guys. We subtract that from 902, $204,000 is your net. So you got a net out of $204,000. What if that took you 9 months to build, guys? How are you doing? What if it took you a full year, full cycle, guys, to build the house, 12 months? How are you doing?
Good.
Guys, it's a part-time job. You know, like Victor's at work. He doesn't go out and pull up a lawn chair and watch them do drywall at his house and sit there eating popcorn. Okay? When you guys go in, guys, you guys go in, and I'll tell you guys, you'll be a really good general contractor and a really good owner if you show up 5 days a week for 1 hour a day. If you go in every single morning at 7 a.m. before you go to the office or whatever else you're doing, and you just show up for an hour, and then at lunch just make phone calls and schedule subs, order materials, or just talk to your GC about decisions that need to be done. I mean, I'm sure that you'd probably be sick of Victor if he called you every day and spoke to you for a full hour every single day, right?
I welcome him.
You welcome him?
It'd be great.
But Victor's just a good dude. I'll hang out with Victor for an hour every day, you know? I might make him put on an apron and cook dinner or something. But no, guys, the truth of it is, guys, imagine if you guys literally spent 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, guys. It won't even take that. And you guys made that type of income. How are you doing? You're in the top 0.2% of all money earners since the history of Adam and Eve. Yep. And just $200,000 net profit, guys. That's it. Guys, and most of you guys don't want to get wealthy. Guys, I'll be the first to tell you, getting wealthy is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. But let me give you an example, guys. What if you just did 5 of these in your whole life, and all you did was one, you built one for you at some point in time and lived in a better neighborhood, and let's say that you were mortgage free and no car payments. And what if you're able to do that over the course of 5 years, and you live a better lifestyle? What kind of life can you give to your kids, your grandkids, your family, yourself? See what I'm saying? And guys, that's truly what it's about. It's not really about getting wealthy. No, most people in here don't want to get wealthy. You know, when I was a young kid, I wanted to get rich. Like that was my goal. I was like, I want to get rich. You know, but most people aren't like me. You know, now people go, well, Jerome, when are you gonna hit billionaire status? I don't know. I don't care. But you asked me earlier. It's like, what? Who was it that asked me earlier? And they said, and I go, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing now because of my kids. Because my son's 18 years old, he's graduating high school. He just went and got his contractor's license 2 weeks ago. Took his test, but he's going to go in. He's playing college ball. He's playing D1 ball. I told him, look, champ. I said, you go in, you play ball. And I said, you don't worry about it. He goes, Dad, I just want to make some money. I said, no, man, you have an opportunity. Kids don't get these opportunities. He had scholarships all over the country to play Division I football. He was hoping to play just play football in college. He got D1 offers everywhere, guys. And so my whole thing is, I said, go play ball. This will always be here. Get your contractor's license, set yourself up. If you do nothing more than that, I said, you will always do well if you just build houses and never even get into multifamily. It's not really about getting wealthy, guys. It's just about having a better lifestyle. Does that make sense? And the reason that I do what I do still is because it was so hard to build the fundamentals and the foundation of what we built. There is no way I'll let it go until I know for sure if my kids want to do it, because the chances of them being able to do what I did, as spoiled as they were, is probably a 0% chance, guys. You know?
That's
and
true.
so the reality is I just keep it for them because I can help them and they can get to levels that they wouldn't be able to get to without my influence. Does that make sense? And so guys, when you think about this, you have to think about it from that perspective right there. Now, how do we get this money? Okay? You guys got a few more minutes and you guys want to see how we get the loans? Okay, let's get the loans, guys. This is how we get the money, guys, right here. Okay, now, there's two ways to get money. Okay, there's two ways to get money. This spreadsheet, guys, the magic is not in this spreadsheet. The magic is in how you fill this spreadsheet out, okay? You cannot get a loan without two things. You need to go through the process of entitlement, and you need to be able to fill out this spreadsheet. The process of entitlement, you're going to have to go in, and you're going to have to get a survey, okay? So this is called the process of entitlement. I'm going to erase all this. Okay. Now, when we go in, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need, we need a survey. The boundary survey is typically free. You can't buy a piece of land unless you know what you're buying, so you're going to have to get a survey. The seller's going to pay for that for you. But you're also going to need what's called a topographic survey. So you're going to need a topographic survey. That's going to cost you about $1,500. Let's call it $2,000. Okay? Let's go a little higher. You're also going to need an architect, or you're going to need a draftsman or draftswoman. Now, typically a draftsman will charge you between $1 and $2 a square foot. An architect will charge you as much as $4 to $6 a square foot. Now, some architects will charge you $2 to $6 a square foot. So let's say that we go in and they charge you $2 a square foot to be able to go in and do this house. The house is 2466. Let's call it $6,000. Okay? Let's call it $6,000 to get your print stuff. Now, you go in and you're going to need some engineering. Okay? We're going to need some engineering. We're going to need a civil engineer, and we're also going to need a structural engineer. Okay? Now, the civil engineer is going to do a grading and drainage plan for you. This is going to cost you between $3,000 and $4,000 for a grading and drainage plan. The structural engineer, guys, don't pay them more than $1,000 for the structural engineer. Your architect or your draftsman, the softwares do all of the structural engineering for them. Guys, it's going to do the shear wall, it's going to do the footings, it's going to do the seismic, the wind loads, it's going to do all of that for them. All the structural engineer is going to do is they're going to take the architecture that you've already paid for right here. I'd rather give the money to the architect. And they're going to produce the drawings. The structural engineers are going to review them, make sure the architect has all their lines in order, and that they got their shear walls and stuff in order. They're going to stamp it, they're going to sign it, they're going to give it back to you. It takes them about an hour. Guys, they're not doing bad for about $1,000 an hour. My guy charges me $800 for structural engineering. I'll tell you guys that for the longest time he charged me $650. But $1,000, you guys are good. This is a non-negotiable. You're going to have $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000. Let's call it $15,000 all in. Okay? So if we call it $15,000 all in, this is your cost to build a $902,000 house right here. Okay? Now $15,000. You cannot get a loan without spending that. That's a non-negotiable. Okay? Cannot be done. That's going to give you bandwidth for money. Okay? That $15,000 is going to give you a set of plans that you can take to the bank can take to an appraiser, the appraiser can come back and do this right here. Okay? That's going to tell you and give you the data of what you're building. The appraiser is going to go in and do exactly what we did on the front end. That's how you're going to get your loan. Okay? We're just going to do it before. In fact, we're going to go in and we're going to be a little more conservative. So if we're underwriting at 902, I might get myself a few $1,000s less and underwriting like at 895. Okay? So when I go in and look at this, might go in and underwrite this at $895 on my total cost. Now, this one is gonna be for the bank, guys. Okay? This is for the bank. This one right here is for you. Okay? Now, let's talk about this real quick. That $15,000, guys, how many of you guys in here are self-employed? Raise your hand if you're self-employed. Okay? Damn, a good percentage of you guys. So here's the thing. I would probably bargain to say that 80% of you guys that are self-employed don't have your business set up correctly. And I'm not talking about LLCs, and I'm not talking about any of that stuff. What I'm talking about, guys, is most of you guys are running under the radar trying to hide cash. You guys are trying to do all your stuff cash, not putting it on the books, asking people to pay you cash, and it's the worst thing that you can do for your business. Guys, you have to humanize your business. You got to make your business a real business. So one of the biggest things and the benefits that I had when my dad did my books, and I told this story earlier, I was like, my dad is like, he's an accountant like through and through, and he is always like straight and narrow. Thank God, because I wasn't. Like I was just like, if this is straight and narrow, this is me. My dad's over here, he's like, that's the board. My dad's like, I'm not even walk close to it. Well, I'm like, that was me my whole life. That's me my whole life. I was always dancing on the other side of the line. And my dad told me when he started doing my books, he goes, Jerome, you step on that side of the line one time, I'm done doing your books. You do them yourself. And that's what he told me. And so my dad did my books. And guys, to my benefit, guys, I had no idea what he was doing for me. I was lucky. I was lucky to have my dad. Because I'll tell you guys that he humanized my business from day number one. I had to pay all my freaking taxes. It sucked, but I did it, guys. And to my benefit, it's what's allowed me to be able to scale my business. Some of you guys can't scale because you guys don't humanize your business. So the biggest thing, guys, is from day one, you guys have to humanize your business. I will advocate and press the shit out of you guys to make your business a real business. I will make you guys get a DUNS number. I will make you guys get a Better Business Bureau an account. I will make you guys go in and do shit right. Why? Because when you humanize your business, you have more bandwidth, and I'll teach you how to do real estate the right way so you don't have to pay taxes anyway. Yep. Okay? So you do shit the right way, better shit happens to you. Even in lawsuits, guys, even in lawsuits. We've been in 3 major lawsuits since we've been in business, like 3 big ones, and we've won all 3. And they've costed us a shit ton of money, guys. And the girls in my office get nervous every time we've gotten in a lawsuit. They're like, Jerome, what do we give them? I tell them everything. I don't know. If I fucked up, I don't know what I did wrong. You know, I just give them everything. We'll find out what we did wrong now. You know, if we did wrong. And every time we got in a lawsuit, we did something wrong, somewhere along the line. But we won every lawsuit because 90%, 95% of everything we did right. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. So when you run your business where you can just give paperwork to the other side, guys, that's when you know you have a real business, guys. When you can get audited and not have to worry about being audited. When you can go in and you're in a lawsuit, you just give them everything. You say, I'm like, fuck, I don't have nothing to hide, just give them everything. Okay? Now, guys, when we go in and we do this stuff, guys, here's how we do it. We're gonna go in, we're gonna humanize your business. We're going to get you business lines of credit, because the second you do that, guys, you're like a freshman in high school. You go in as a freshman in high school, the first thing you do when you register for college and you go to the bookstore is they give you a $5,000 credit card. You go in and apply for a $5,000 credit card, this little table that says Visa and MasterCard, Discover, whatever it is. Okay? Now, if a little freshman in high school can go in and do this, you guys are going to go in, when you guys go to Bank of America or Chase, and the next time they ask you when you're in line to be able to come out and let you do a deposit with a lady with a little iPad, you're going to say, okay. And then when she tells you that you qualify for a business line of credit with Chase, you're going to say, damn right I do. And you're going to let her give it to you. And I don't care if that card's 20%. It doesn't matter. Because that 20% interest rate, you're going to be able to go in and you're going to be able to do this right here. With that $15,000, guys, it's going to give you bandwidth. Plus, we're going to put the land right here at that $180,000 on the first line item. This is going to be that $180,000. Second line item is going to be that $15,000 for your soft costs and entitlements. We're going to get this back from the bank the second we close on our loan. We're going to get the land back too. Then we're going to go back in, guys, and we're going to underwrite the dirt work, the concrete, the framing lumber, the trusses. We're going to do the plumbing rough-in, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. We do everything all the way down. Drywall, insulation, roof, everything all the way down. This one right here is going to be what we need, 624, okay? This is our execution number, that's 624. How do we know we're going to be able to build for that? Because we're going to give this spreadsheet to our general contractor. We're going to base our contract based on this spreadsheet. We're not going to sign a contract with our GC until the GC backs into this spreadsheet. We want to know that we can build this house for that price before we get started. But we have to have this in order for the GC to be able to know what the hell he's doing. Does that make sense? Some of you guys go in and say, I can't find a contractor that'll build for me for under $300 a square foot. I'm like, do you have a lot? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, do you have a set of prints? Like, no. And I'm like, the fuck are they bidding? I won't build for you either for under $300 a square foot. You know? Get a set of plans. Man up, guys. You guys go in, you put that $15,000 in there, guys, you get a set of plans. Now they have a real product that they can go out and take to market. If you're going to be your own GC, you don't start breaking ground because the bank's not going to let you till this spreadsheet is filled out. So what we do, guys, is we go in and we fill out this entire spreadsheet, line item by line item, so that way you go in and you know exactly what every cost on your spreadsheet is. You can get these spreadsheets from any bank that does construction lending, guys, from any bank. These things are not taboo, guys. They are known in every bank. They will not let you get a loan without one. It's not the spreadsheet that's magical, it's how you fill it out. Now, we go in, it's a 624. This is our execution amount. This is what we need. Now, we know that comps support 902, okay? If it supports $902,000 based on comps, I want to be a little bit more conservative, because if comps come in slightly lower, guess who has to come in with the difference in money? You do, okay? So to prevent that, be a little more conservative. So we come in, we bake this at $895. Now, we're going to go in and we're going to shop terms, okay? You might talk to 20 banks and maybe 6 of them only do construction lending. Guys, keep your business local. If you have local, regional, and community banks and credit unions here in San Antonio that do construction lending, and you do, stay here. Don't use the national lenders, because when you use the national lenders, you're a number, guys. When you're a number, guys, it's a pain in the ass. 85% of the revenue that banks make locally in community banks and credit unions comes from mortgages and car payments, guys, car loans. They function. They need your business. If 85% of their revenue comes from home loans, guys, guess what they're fighting for? They're fighting for this type of business right here. Give it to them. They're the ones that are going to lend to you, your local banks, guys. Don't go to Chase for those. Go to Chase for this type of stuff. You're going to go in and you're going to go with your local lenders when you're going in for construction lending, guys, because these guys want to fight for the permanent loan on that asset. But if you go in, guys, there's 2 different types of loans. This one is a conventional construction loan right here. Now, let's say we shop for terms. I would go in and I would lock my credit if I were you guys. I would go in, buy a subscription for $28 a month with Experian, lock your credit. Just click on the lock button and they can't run your credit, okay? It's none of their business yet. You haven't given them the business. They haven't earned your business yet. You don't want them running your credit. It's not time for them to run your credit yet. You're their customer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You guys go in like you're their little bitch. Stop doing that, guys. Stop doing that. And I'm serious, guys. The banks work for you. They need you. They need your loans.
That's right.
So when you guys go in, guys, you have to go in owning the fact that they need you. If you guys go out and you make this on one house, are you just going to go stop building, or are you going to build more? Are you going to work with a bank that works with you, or the one that was the biggest pain in the ass? The ones that works with you, guys. The bank needs you. Okay? You have to go in with that type of mentality. The reason I'm so strong when I say this, guys, is because I'm adamant about this stuff. Guys, I didn't go in and start building institutional assets on accident. When I went in like I was supposed to be there, and I had no fucking business there. First time, I mean, I literally went from an $8 million bill to a $50 million bill, guys. I had no place for that loan. But I went in there like I did. They had no idea I did it. They had no idea I didn't think I did, and I had no idea. When they gave me that loan, that day I signed that loan, I was like, no. I was like, holy shit, you know. And then there was like a moment of excitement, and then there was a, oh shit. I gotta build this thing. I was like, shit, I gotta get to work. So it lasted for like 2 seconds. So I was like, whoo, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get to work. All right. Now, when we go in, guys, we're gonna go in and we're gonna shop terms. A couple of these banks may go in and tell you, you might land up with 4 banks that do construction lending the way you want it, but maybe 2 of them come in and say, hey, you have to have your GC on the LLC. Or they might tell you that they're gonna fund your GC. You guys don't do that. Why? Because you lose control. If you have to fire your GC, you're screwed. Okay, if they're in your LLC, you're really screwed. Okay, so you need to stay in control of your bills. So don't do that, guys. So when you guys go in, those two banks, I would say no go. So now we look for the terms. They say, okay, they'll fund you. You got your GC, you got your budget, you got your plans, you got everything. Now those are the two banks you're going to vet the terms. The ones that give you the vet terms, the ones you're going to go with. On average, it's going to be about 75% loan to cost or loan to value. Okay. Now, if they give you 75% of your underwritten amount, we're going to inflate every line item that's on this spreadsheet by 15 to 20%. We're going to go in and we're going to take our dirt bids that came in at $30,000, we're going to put on here. We may execute at $10,000 here, but we're going to put this $30,000 one here. We may have got a foundation price for $50,000 here and $40,000 here. We're going to take this price, but we're going to put this one on that bid sheet. Does that make sense?
Yep.
We're going to inflate this to this $895. And all we're going to do is we're going to work and finesse our numbers to this right here, guys. We're not going to go out and buy cars. We're not going to go out and buy fancy watches. We're not going to go out and go on vacation, because if you take that money out of the bill, it's called money laundering. You will get indicted and you will go to prison for it, okay? But the banks understand that these spreadsheets are not going to be perfect, guys. They understand that you're going to overfund some of the line items by 110%. They also know that you're going to be underfunded on others by 85%, 15% and 85% usage. So you're going to have to move and adjust these as you go through them. The banks know that. So all you're doing here is what the banks already know. It's perfectly legal. They know what you're doing. You put it in 95, 75%. What is 75% of 895, guys? So if we go in, we take 895 times 0.75. 671. What do we need, guys? Our proceed amount is 671. Okay? We only need 624. There's a problem though. We have to service debt. How many of you guys want to service that $30,000 on your own? So what the banks do is they do what's called interest reserve. They will allow you to go in and do a reduction of proceeds for the interest reserve amount. They will take a $30,000 cut out of your proceeds, and that proceed amount, you're paying interest on it, but it's paying your debt down. And so what you do is you take 671 minus $30,000, you're going to be at 41,000. So your proceed amount goes down to 641. Okay? Can we still afford to build a house?
Yes.
We can, right? And we even have a little bit of contingency money, and we have 12 months of interest reserve where we don't even have an interest payment because it's getting taken from the back end. You're going to owe it when the loan is all said and done, but it's on the back end. You're not making the payments month to month. The bank is. It's all coming out of your interest reserve. You have to be able to underwrite this stuff to do it right. The reason I tell you guys that the magic is in how you fill these out is because if you jack up how you're filling them out, you're not going to be able to get the right amount of lending. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, Alec, my camera guy, guys, hardest loan I've ever gotten. But I'll tell you guys, and he's not the smartest tool shed. He's a good kid, man. He's getting there, and he's actually a hard-ass worker. I like Alec a lot. I wouldn't have done it for him if he wasn't. He's a hard-ass worker. And I'll tell you guys that when we went in and we got Alec's loan, it was the hardest loan I ever gotten. And I always tell people, I told this to these people, the folks in Austin earlier. I said, look, man, I know God has a sense of humor. Because, man, he gave, when we were in Cancun, I was telling all, and I tell all you guys, like every single one of you guys, you get a loan for $1 million to build this stuff. Every single one of you guys, provided you guys execute under my leadership and you follow my instructions. And I think that God was sitting down going, all right, Jerome, I want to see if you can really make this happen. He gave me Alec. And damn, guys, he had bad credit, a bad DTI, you name it, man. I mean, that loan was supposed to close in 30 days. It took us like 60 some odd days to close that loan. I was fighting with the brokers. They hated me. The dude was scared of me because I was cussing him out on the phone. You know, it pissed me off. And I'll tell you guys, they misled us into different things, but we got the loan, guys. The whole thing is we got the loan. He went from a 6.1% interest rate all the way up to a 9.7% interest rate. And he landed up getting a little bit less leverage, but he still got enough money. He only needed $660 to build his whole house, pay for the land, and they landed up giving him $702 or $701 or something like that. So he had plenty of money, including interest reserve money, to be able to build a house. And if you guys follow all my stuff online, on Instagram, guys, or you guys follow us on YouTube, you guys watch Alex build, going up. He's like 70% of the way done, and we're under budget by several thousands of dollars. In fact, he was able to build a block wall on one side of his property where there was an uglier house on the side because he was under budget. And so right now it's about $15,000 under budget, and he's positioned to make $280,000 net. He stays under budget, he might make $300,000.
Yeah.
29-year-old, father of two, been married for 7 years, guys, and he has a mortgage payment. We're just gonna pay off this house, guys. That's full out. Just pay a couple of these things, man. Pay off your house. You have a better life for you and your family. Okay? Now, guys, we go in and we do this. This is how you're gonna get lending. Now, what happens here, guys, is the first draw is gonna be for your land. You're gonna pull this out as well. You're gonna take this $15,000 back. You're gonna pay off this high interest credit card, and you're gonna put that money back in your account. And then you're gonna take that money, you're gonna spend it all over again. Because you're gonna go in, you're gonna start working on build number 2 immediately. Because the second you go in and you do that, you're gonna build a pipeline. You're gonna start working through plans, through permits, through architecture. It takes a few months. And so when you start building that house, it's gonna take you 5-6 months to build. You're gonna start working on the plans, designs, and tying up another lot. That's gonna take you 3 months. The second that you go in, you sell that house, you're gonna go in, you're gonna close on that lot. Does that make sense? And you're gonna start building and turning dirt the very next day. Okay, because you're gonna have a permit-ready set of prints to be able to go out and start doing this all over again. Okay? Now, there's another way to get lending. You guys got 5 more minutes in you?
Yeah.
All right. This is what's called a construction to perm loan. Okay? Same thing with your local banks. National banks, you're not gonna get a construction to perm loan with a national bank, or at least not a desirable one. Go to your local lenders, guys, because on a construction to perm loan, they want 5% of cost. Okay? So now we get rid of this second spreadsheet completely. We don't even use this one. We just go in, we use this one right here. This number is going to be 624. It's your real numbers. Okay? You're going to use 624. Now, the whole thing is this is 5% of loan to cost, but it's 20% of loan to stabilized value. Okay? So if you look at this, the bank is still, they're looking for a permanent loan. The bank wants you in on that property at 20% equity. The bank only wants 80% leverage on that house, right? You go in, you look at your own single family home, what do they have? You know, if you're VA or you're FHA, you might be at 95%, or maybe 0%, but 0% down. But over here, guys, they want 80% loan to value. So if you go in with 80% loan to value, this 5% loan to cost will get you right there. What is 5% of 624?
31, 32.
What is it?
31.
What is it?
31,000.
Okay, $31,000. This is your all out-of-pocket cost. $31,000 is your out-of-pocket cost for this construction of perm loan, guys. You can go out, you can build a $902,000 home for $31,000, guys, on construction of perm loan. And this $15,000 you spend here, they're going to contribute this towards your down payment because it's part of your bill. So it's going to be this $15,000 minus the 31, so you're going to be $16,000 in at closing. If you put $5,000 in escrow on the lot, it's $11,000 you got to bring to the table at closing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, what I do, instead of doing that, is I go to the closing table with the $31,000, but I'm going to inflate this, the $31,000 I need, so I'm going to be at $650,000, right, or 655 plus 15,000, so I'm at $670,000. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to underwrite this at 670 instead of 624. And then I'm going to put in this same dirt price right here, it's higher. I'm going to inflate my dirt price, my foundation, and maybe my plumbing roughing. And I'm going to inflate that to the values of this amount right here. So that I come to the table with this $31,000, but on day number 30, on day 30, I'm going to go in for my first draw. I'm going to overdraw. I'm going to get 100% of my draw on these items right here, and I'm going to fund back, and I'm going to pay off that $31,000 and the $15,000, and I'm going to be $0 into my bill after day number 30. Okay, that's what Alec did, guys. He borrowed $41,000 or $48,000 from his dad. I can't remember the exact, but he either borrowed $41,000 or $48,000 from his dad. He didn't have it. So he did a loan like this, and he went in, the first draw, we got his dad paid back. I made sure he got his dad paid back. His dad came to the job, so I said, hey, Mr. Grego, did Alec pay you back? And he said, in full. He goes, Dad, you guys already have this thing framed. That was the first time I saw his dad. And I said, yeah. And his 100% into that bill after day 30 with $0 into a $1 million bill, guys. That's how you do it, guys. That's leverage, that's banking, that's lending. Okay? Now, is there a lot of moving pieces to this?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when we come in, guys, and we talk about this stuff, listen, if I sat back and I let you guys end at this, I would fail you guys, because scientists say that we only retain about 7 to 10% of everything we hear for the first time. That means that you guys got 93% of the wrong information in your brain. Okay? But even if we're intelligent, you guys got 50% of it, guys. You don't have enough to go out there and execute the way you need to. One of the big needle movers, guys, how many of you guys have ever went to my big events, like the ones where I had like 2,000 people in rooms and we have lights and flash and the whole 9 yards? So we got a few of you guys. Guys, those events would cost me $1 million to put on. They cost me more than building a freaking house to put on, but it was stressful as hell. I decided to get rid of all the speakers, guys. I got rid of all the bullshit. I got rid of all the Goggins, all Emmett Smith, all these guys I had on stages when we were doing our big events. I got rid of all of them, stopped paying them, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do these small hybrid events that really are needle movers for people in our community. Where I could go in. I'm your only speaker, guys. Once or twice a year, I do a small workshop. I only limit them to 350 attendees. You cannot purchase a ticket to attend these events from social media. I do not run ads. They're by invite only. If I run an ad for a week on social media, guys, we'll have the entire event filled in less than a week. It took me 4 days to fill this room, and we've had there's 120 people in here right now. Guys, 4 days. Guys, we do one of these events, we market nationwide, guys, they're gone. The tickets will be gone. I don't need you guys to go to Washington, D.C. on June 13th and 14th. You need to get your ass there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because if you don't, I can't help you, you know? But imagine, how many of you guys got more out of the last hour and a half than you guys have ever gotten in a live free meetup before in your entire friggin' life, guys? Okay? Understand that we're gonna do this over 16 hours in 2 days. Imagine what you get in 2 days. I'm your only speaker, guys. If you guys don't like the bad words, you guys don't like it, look, guys, I've gotten rich being who I am. I am not going to change for you. I promise you, I would cuss on stage. Okay? I promise you, I'm going to be, and they'll call me, they'll be like potty mouth preachers. They're telling me, guys, I have great faith, man. I went to Catholic school my whole life. You guys will never find anything bad about me on the internet. Nothing, guys. There's not out there. It doesn't exist, guys. I've never lied, cheated, stolen from you guys, from anybody. I don't need you guys' money, guys. I've worked my ass off. And guys, you guys will never find anything. So you know what? In return, guys, I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to do it unforgivingly. Okay? I have nothing to hide from you guys. I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. If you guys piss me off, I'm going to fucking tell you. You know? But we're going to go out. We're going to make some money together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? Guys, you guys need to be there. Guys, I'm doing this event. It'll be the last one I do this year. If you guys understand how important my family is, one of the big things, guys, like my wife and I, we raised our kids to be successful since the day they were born. My son's a 2-time nationally ranked gymnast. My daughter's a 1-time nationally ranked gymnast. My kids have both been 6A varsity athletes since they were freshmen in high school. My daughter's a freshman this year. She was a varsity cheerleader and a varsity track runner. She's killing it on hurdles, killing it. They have her in the paper every week. My son, same thing, guys. He for 2 years straight, he won all the accolades. First team All-State, first team All-Metro, first team All-District, first in state, Offensive Player of the Year. And he has scholarships for D1 schools to play football all over the country. He landed up deciding to stay at home with the Lobos because of Coach Eck. And we're glad to have him stay at home. In so many ways, I wanted him to go out and expand himself. But guys, he starts playing college ball this year, and his first game's against OU, or not OU, that's his third game. I forgot, we looked at it. The OU is his first game, is his third game. Anyways, I'm not gonna miss any of his games, guys. And I don't know if they're gonna make it to a bowl game or not. God willing, they will. So I can't schedule another one of these workshops, guys. And I won't schedule one until 2027. So all I'm telling you guys is get your ass to Washington, D.C. If you guys have any desire of making this work, get your ass to Washington, D.C. And here's why, guys. In the morning, on that Saturday morning, we're gonna get started immediately, diving straight into business lines of credit. We're gonna spend about an hour working on business lines of credit. We're gonna humanize your business the first thing in the morning. You're gonna walk out of it with DUNS numbers, with EIN numbers, with all your SEC numbers, everything. And then what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna roll straight into these spreadsheets. And it's gonna be on, it's gonna be an intense weekend. You guys are gonna come, you're gonna be mentally fatigued at the end of the weekend. You will be exhausted. We're gonna go in and we're gonna hit these spreadsheets hard on single family. We're gonna go through these line item by line item. Then I typically just rent out an entire restaurant near the hotel or in the hotel, and I feed you guys lunch, guys. And when we go in there, guys, I go in and we do it right. You guys are gonna get steaks or you guys get fish and chicken or whatever it is, salad, and you guys will get a healthy lunch. Typically, I'll rent out an entire restaurant so we don't have any interference with waiters and waitresses. We go in there and we just dominate the entire restaurant for lunch. I feed you guys. I don't want you guys running around Washington, D.C. Then you guys get up and we all go back together so none of you guys are late. Then we go in the afternoon and we deep dive straight into this, guys, and we go into multifamily. Now you guys are gonna get 18 working PDFs. They're my PDFs for my office. When we put this stuff together, I didn't make these for you guys. I didn't like sit down and like custom curate these for you. They're my spreadsheets, guys. They're the same spreadsheets I've been using for almost 30 years, guys. And all I did is I took them, I had my office, I told Cam, I said, hey, can you take off our logos off of everything so that these guys can white label these, put them in. I sent them over to Mo, my COO, that runs our back office of this stuff here. And Mo went in and put them together. And then you guys will get working spreadsheets of all this stuff that you guys can walk in and your businesses will look like established businesses, and you can go to the bank looking like a gangster from day number one, okay? And you guys go in looking like pros, day one, guys. And then we're gonna go in multifamily, guys, there's two more spreadsheets. There's this one, but there's also, we underwrite the value of the asset and the cost to build. Value of the asset and cost to build, okay? Now, you guys got a link on your phone to register for the event. The event is $798. I've had it up here the entire time. What we do is I incentivize you guys at $597 just for the first 20 tickets, guys. We only have 20 available today. It's first come, first served. I'm going to be in Houston tomorrow morning, guys, and we're going to work with our Houston community tomorrow morning. And then we're going to be, we're going to head back up to the East Coast, and we already have like close to 300 tickets gone right now. So we don't have a lot of tickets left and available. And we will not oversell the event because I can't do what I want to do if I oversell the event. We keep them small, we keep them intimate, and we keep them where I can walk around the entire audience. The people that you see wearing the gold tags that say member, those are all my members that have been part of our community, that have all done successful builds full cycle. They all have to have made over 6 figures on multiple builds to be a part of our Build Wealth community. Victor's one of them. So is Linda. Victor and Linda have been a part of our community now for several years, and they'll be there too. They'll be underwriting some builds. Hopefully Robert and them, you guys will be up there too, with your guys' tags on as well. And guys, this will put you guys in a position where you guys can go in and ask questions while we're actually up on stage. Now, when we go in and do that, guys, you can bring your spouse the +1 for $200, okay? I do this for my wife. My wife's not into real estate, nor is she into business. She's a great mom. She ran a dance school. Not into the ground, but she ran a dance school. She ran a dance school for 11 years, okay? I had her making 6 figures. She had her making 30,000. I'm like, okay, cool. No fighting. There's your 30,000. Have fun with it, right? And so she goes in. That's not her deal, but she'll come and hang out with me for a couple $100. You know, so I do that. That covers my cost on her food, right? Is what that does. And so we basically do these events almost for free, guys, because by the time I pay for the ballroom, my staff, and the food and everything else, we're not making no money on these things. I do these for you guys. They're an investment in your guys' future. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, when you guys go in, guys, and you guys go to Washington, D.C., you guys got a link on your phone that you can register from. If you get it, you guys can have Josh and Steven right here. They have the QR code. You guys can scan well, there was a QR code up there. Right over here. Those QR codes are the ones that they're giving you guys. And you guys can register. Now, you guys got 5 more minutes in you guys to look at multifamily? You guys got another 5 in you?
Yeah.
You guys want to go through multifamily real quick?
Yes.
Okay, it'll only take me 5 minutes to hit multifamily. Okay? You guys want to underwrite a 10 unit real quick?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can quit now.
Erase the board.
Sure? You want? I'm not a coffee. That's it. It's hard. My shit, man. I turn my coffee into a dessert if I have to drink coffee. Okay. Now, let's look at multifamily, guys. Let me explain why this stuff is so important. Guys, every single person in here, whether you know that you want to be building multifamily or not, you guys want to take notes on that? Here, take a picture of that. Take that to your science teacher.
Must have to go decode that.
I just like look back, I'm like, damn. You guys understand that? You know what's funny, guys? I have a notebook in this bag right here, no shit. Guys, it has, I have every estimate that I've ever given for our concrete company, I have in a notebook. I have all the notebooks from day one, every one of them. Every fucking page looks like that, and I know exactly what's on that, every page. I can go back to a project from 20 years ago, pull up my notebook from a project from 20 years ago, and we were doing over 1,000 projects a year. Guys, I know exactly what it means. And I don't know how to speak Chinese, but I know how to write Chinese. All right? I don't know any Mandarin, but I know how to. Okay. All right, guys. Here's why multifamily and commercial assets are so important. You guys are going to start hearing me talk a lot about warehouse, office warehouse, guys, because it's a great asset class too. But I'll tell you guys, small multifamily, luxury multifamily, we're not going to be building affordable housing right now, guys. There's no money in it right now. Our large assets, we're turning them into adult active living apartments, and we're doing the high-end luxury stuff because it's the only shit that pencils right now. Interest rates suck. It's killing the multifamily industry, and you know what sucks the most is that we're in a housing deficit. We need houses, but we can't build them because developers can't afford to build them. And these cities put these bullshit laws together telling you they're going to incentivize you, but yet they won't fucking work with you. Okay? And so we're building them. We're still building institutional assets, but I'm telling you guys, listen to me. I've already beta tested stuff. I'm living it. I eat it. I breathe it. Josh, what did it sound like? Where's Josh at? Where's Josh and Steven at? Those guys walk outside? Those guys go on vacation?
Having a beer.
Yes. So, the guys, what was on the, what was the sound in the truck the whole way down from Austin?
You're beautiful, boys.
My beautiful boys, actually, my beautiful boys talking to who?
Some developers in several different states.
Bankers, lenders, guys, a whole hour and a half all the way down. These guys, it was like quiet, man. These guys were just eating their In-N-Out burgers, listening to me in a meeting, guys, the whole way down. I'm living, eating, and breathing this, guys. When I'm not with you guys, I am on these phones. I am on it, living it, eating, breathing this stuff. High-end luxury stuff, small stuff. You cannot go in and compete in a market where there's a lot of absorption right now because you'll get screwed. Most people in here can't afford to absorb that stuff over the course of time. We can, because of how much assets we have, but we're still not as big as the multi-billion-dollar developers yet. But the thing is, guys, is that you guys can go in and make great profits off small stuff. 10 unit, 6 unit, 8 unit, 20 unit, 30 unit multifamily. I won't even touch anything over 30 units, guys. Won't even touch it. And if you do touch it, do it in phases. Do 30, stabilize it, go to the next one. Okay? If you build anything under 8 units, build it and sell it and get rid of it. Don't keep it. They're a fucking pain in the ass. Okay? There's no money in them, guys. So when you guys go in, I'm telling you guys, 8 unit, 10 unit is good. You guys go in, let's say you guys go in, you guys build a 10 unit apartment complex, okay? We go in, we buy a 10 unit apartment complex. Now, this 10 unit apartment complex in this market right here will be worth about $2.2 million, okay? Now, based on average rents of about $17.50 a month, and the same formula, value equals NOI divided by cap rate, okay? Now, when we go in, guys, the IRS tells us that we can cost segregate this asset. We can cost segregate it. When we go in and do that, we can depreciate this entire asset, but we have to take out the land. So let's say we paid $250,000, let's say $300,000 for the land. So we have to subtract $300,000. We can't depreciate land. God isn't making any more of it. That still gives us $1.9 million in cost segregation value. We can take this entire $1.9 million and we can do what's called bonus depreciation of 100%, thanks to Trump's big beautiful bill. And we can take 100% bonus depreciation in year 1. That means that we could take $1.9 million in tax deductions against your federal tax returns, and until you earn $1.9 million in net taxable revenue, you don't have to pay any federal income taxes. And that never expires. So if it takes you 1 year to do it, it takes you 5 years to do it, it takes you 10 years to do it. You pay no federal income taxes until you earn $1.9 million of net taxable income. Okay? Now, that means that you don't pay any taxes on this right here. You build a house, you make $204,000, the average person is gonna pay about $75,000 in taxes on that house. You're gonna pay a big fat zero. Okay, you pay you have zero tax liability. You pay none. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a general contractor, if you're a police officer, a firefighter, doesn't matter. If you made $120,000 last year in your W-2 paid job, and you paid $30,000 in federal income taxes on April 15th, you're gonna get that $30,000 back, 100% of it, in the form of a tax return. You will pay $0 in federal income taxes, guys.
So that's paid off.
Until you make $1.9 billion in net taxable revenue, based on your cost segregation stuff. Not only that, guys, this will earn you about $35,000 a year in passive income. It's not a lot of money, but it's $35,000 of tax-free money. And most people will go out and work 30 years of their life working a government job, and by the time they pay their health insurance and all their pension fees and all that bullshit, they're there if they land up with $35,000 a year. And you go in, and you're gonna have about $600,000 in equity in this bill. You can go out at stabilization, you can do what's called a cash out refi on a stabilized loan, pull $200,000 of equity out of this bill, and this is tax-free because it's not income, it's a loan. And now you still carry $400,000 in equity in your property. You're still cash flowing because you have a lower interest rate than your construction lending, and you still have your cost segregation money. And when you go in and you take a look at what I'm doing, let's say in 3 years from now, 2 years from now, interest rates drop and cap rates drop. If you stabilize it at a 5.5% interest rate today, and if in a couple of years, if it drops to 4.5%, you refinance. Based on the interest rate, you have lower debt service. You're still making your $35,000. The value of your asset went up, and you can pull another $200,000 out of that asset tax-free, and you didn't even have to sell it, and you still have that cost segregation money. These assets pay, guys, and they pay, and they continue to pay. Guys, that's a little 10-year apartment complex. And you can get lending on that stuff. The lending on this works exactly the same as single-family homes. And you can go in, and with a general contractor, you can get a loan on this stuff. Now, once you guys start getting bigger, then these small ones, you are gonna have to resume into. But these small ones, guys, these things are life transformational for anybody. And you guys can go in, and everybody in here can take advantage of them. And here's the thing, guys. Not only that, when you guys are able to do this, you guys get to take advantage of the other perks and whistles too. You know, I got a family of 4, guys. Guess how much we pay a month in health insurance? Guess. Guess how much we pay a month? How much? 500, how much? 2,000 a month? $700-800 bucks? I don't pay a damn cent, guys. My insurance is free, because I'm low income. I'm not gonna get taxable income. And my son, who has a full ride scholarship to play ball, he's getting financial aid to go to college. It goes into his registrar's account because we're low income. You guys can hate the player, you guys can learn to play the game, baby. We pay taxes for years, guys, millions and millions of dollars in tax. I pay over $1 million a year in property taxes. There's single properties that pay over $250,000, $300,000 a year in property taxes on, guys. I don't feel bad for doing it one bit. We have paid our fair share of taxes, guys, and we learned how to play the game the way the wealthy do. Why did Trump not want to disclose his taxes? Because he does the same shit, guys. That's money. And it's perfectly legal. And in a bipartisan, the Democrats try to make him look bad doing it. Guys, this is one of the only things that's a bipartisan agreement between the Democrats and the Republicans. You know why? Because the Democrats buy real estate too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll do it.
This is the best tax incentive that's available to mankind in the United States. Okay? And so I'll tell you guys, these small little multifamily are priceless. The reason that we go through the multifamily is because at some point in time, you're gonna not, it doesn't matter about whether you desire to go into it, you're gonna need to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my students keep showing back up. You know, I got a young lady, her name's Miranda, she's on like her 8th or 9th home, guys, or maybe more. Miranda, she's building 8 right now, and she's already had 2, so I think she's on house number 10 or 11. Guys, stay-at-home mom, mother of 4, guys. She was one of my first female students that really thrived and made it, guys, and she was doing fix and flips just a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, guys. She's netting over $1 million a year, and now she's back at every single one of our meetups. She's back at every single one of our masterminds, and the reason why is because now she has a tax problem, and she's trying to figure out the multifamily game, so she's back in it, learning the multifamily game. Guys, once you guys come in and you're a part of what we're doing, you'll be a part of what we're doing for the rest of your lives. And the reason why, guys, is because we're doing it at the highest level. And I don't know anybody that's an individual like myself that's doing it at the level that we're doing it at. I don't know. They're probably out there. I just don't know who they are. Okay? From a development perspective, I'm one of the only ones that I know, and I think I'm the only one that's teaching how to do it. Because who else is going to teach you guys how to do this shit? This shit's a lot of work. Okay? But I raised capital through it, and this has been pretty friggin' cool. We've had a lot of fun, haven't we, guys? Yeah. Tell them a little bit about your experience working with us, guys. Victor, Linda, stand up. Tell them a little bit about your experience working with us.
Well, we don't have building.
Tell them your name. Introduce yourself, Linda.
Linda Gonzalez.
And don't be shy. Linda's not shy. You can speak up. Speak louder. Linda's not
So
shy.
I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I lived here my whole life. Kind of transplanted.
I just sit down.
But we have no building background, don't come to this line of work at all. I work for the Air Force, following youth programs, and my husband's a data analyst. Works from home. I work part-time from home. Not part-time, but full-time, but I work from home part-time. So Victor found, Jerome, searching the internet, wanted to do something to augment what we're doing. We're still not prepared to, stop working full-time, so it's been, something we've been able to do along with our full-time work. So he got us involved in it. We've been to many of Jerome's workshops and mastermind. First, to start off as a mastermind, been to many of his workshops. The biggest thing about this, we would have never done it if it wasn't for meeting Jerome. We would have never had the guts to do it. We would have never had the drive to do it if it wasn't for him, or for meeting him and meeting the different people in the community, women included. I just can't even speak enough about the connections that you make, the good people that you meet along the way. We have been blessed with meeting Ron, Alicia over here, who's one of our partners. We've just started working with our architect, but just the people in the community, the conversations that you have, the things you learn on the weekly meeting calls and things like that, but just in meeting people. I can't say enough.
I think that's it. It's just, having the confidence and the mentorship from Jerome's group is one thing. It's access to Jerome, but it's really about the community. The community helps to build it. Not only builds your confidence and making sure that your investment is going to be safe. And I think that was the biggest thing for us is really, removing some of those self-limiting beliefs, being within the community and seeing it happen all across the country, and meeting new friends who are doing it, being successful. Miranda was a big inspiration for us when we first saw her at MGM, when you had your event with the pyrotechnics and everything else. But it's been fun. I mean, we have seen this community grow, San Antonio particularly, over the past 3 years, and we have so many folks building. Our friends here, Robert and Ori, for sure. We're gonna let them tell you a little bit about their story. But we're excited to bring our team here, Ron Belmontes, RB Custom Homes, and Brenda Lee. We brought them here, just everybody be on the same page and understand where we're coming from, and it's been a godsend for sure. But Jerome, we couldn't have done it without you, man. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, you guys are doing good. Put your hands together. Guys, they were scared, man. They were scared. And they got a lot, they lost money on a lot, they got scared, they backed out of the lot, then they came back in, they got another lot, and I told them, okay guys, you guys gotta ante up. They came out and saw me in Scottsdale, spent a full weekend with me. We sat down, they were scared because they thought they were over budget. I reworked their designs for them, we did some value engineering. We went from going in and them thinking they were gonna lose money to underwriting at about a $300,000 profit at that point in time. Then we went back, we value engineered that project a little bit more to where they were gonna go in and make close to $400,000 net profit on it. And it just took a little bit of time and a little bit of comfort, guys. And now they're about to sell the house. I think it goes for sale here in about a week, doesn't it? Next week. And they're posed to make somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000 net on the very first deal, guys.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Lori Russell. This is my husband, Robert Russell. Out of the both of us, I'm the talker. So, I'm a real estate agent, broker here in San Antonio. And over the years, I have made a lot of people rich. And I kept telling myself, why do I keep making people rich, investors rich? I said, why can't I do it? My husband needed somebody besides me telling him. So one day, I don't know how, but an email from Jerome fell into my email box. And I'd never heard of Jerome before. And I opened it up with the email, he's on there talking just the way he is like this, just talking everything. And I said, my husband will listen to him. He speaks his language. I have to go to this meeting. So we came to the meeting, we sat up in the front, and he was listening to him and everything. And I mean, I'm talking about 5 years I've been trying to get this man to invest. And Jerome tells him, you know, he's telling everybody, just like he says, what are you waiting for? And I look at my husband like, what are you waiting for? You know? And he signs us up, and I'm like, oh yes, okay, so we sign up. I go on the classes, we start doing the classes, we go to Miami, and then we go to Cancun. There's one thing that I have never done as a realtor. I have never written an LOI, letter of intent, for a piece of land, residential. Never heard of it. Been doing real estate for almost 12 years now. Didn't know. I followed. And in Cancun, when we were there at our meeting, I landed the deal of an LOI exactly the way he told me. I talked to a realtor and got a piece of land with 120 days, no money down, no loan, just a letter of intent, giving me 60 days of option and 120 days to close. And I did it all while I was there in Cancun, going between meeting to meeting, and we landed it on following his instructions.
On the pool, on the ocean.
And now we have our GC, we did our rendering, our architect did our rendering, everything, we're at the bidding, we're almost done with the bids. So we
About to break
are
ground.
hopefully.
How many weeks away are we from breaking ground, guys?
We're hoping like 3 weeks.
3 weeks away, guys, 3 weeks away. They're right down the road from Victor and Linda, and then even Josh is in here. Josh is, building up a new Broncos. Tell me a little bit. Josh came in, Josh has owned an insurance company for over a decade. He owns a football league, a youth football league that he's owns, very successful in his own businesses, guys. Came in, started working with us about 2 years ago, right? Out there. And he's been very successful working for us and with us. And I'll tell you that I told my whole team last year, you guys all have to start building. And so now, Josh, tell them your story, bro. Tell them, you're right.
Yeah, so I just really listened to exactly what Jerome says, right? So if Alec could do it, anybody could do it. When I saw Alec jump in, I was like, all right, I'm doing this, right? So, yeah, we are pretty close to breaking ground in our first build in New Braunfels, Texas. So it'll be 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. Brenda Lease right here as our architect. Ron is going to be our GC. She did a beautiful drawing for us, and it's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,940 square feet.
How much you guys supposed to make on that thing?
Probably a couple, 250 is what we're thinking. So
250. Put your hands together, please. Okay? But he's going to be able to go out there and build a house. Yeah. So proud of this guy, and just good people too, guys. All these people are great people. So look, guys, anytime I do one of these, guys, the goal is to be able to come in and invite you guys to come in and join me in Washington, D.C., hands down. And I'll tell you guys that everybody's in a different place mentally in their life. Now, I'm gonna share with you guys that wherever you guys are in your life is fine. Like, guys, I have plenty of free content for you guys to be able to go in and take advantage of, to be able to take advantage of what we do and build, guys. I've structured it that way. But there's people like Victor and Linda. There's people like Laura Robert. There's people that are here today. We have members that have been here. And remind me your first name. Alicia, you've been a part of our community for how long now?
Well, I went to the workshop in Dallas, and I mean, I've been with Victor and Linda. That's how I heard about you.
Yeah, and Victor and Linda. And so one of the big things, guys, is that everybody's in a little bit different place where they are right mentally. Guys, it's going to take somebody that's similar to where I was at back in 2018. I worked in the 2008 recession. It sucked, guys. I worked my business for 5 years where I literally felt like I was working for free. Didn't really make a lot of profits. My net worth was kind of going up on the side, but it was through all the bullshit that I was dealing with and working towards to do it. And I told my wife about 2016, I was like, I'm sick of the bullshit. I said, and I got scared, guys. 2008 scared me. So much so that my son was born that same year. We were worth about $20 million in 2008 when my son was born. And the goal was just for us to kind of take our foot off the pedal. Guys, I've been doing this stuff since I was 19 years old. I've been self-employed. And I'm not talking like kind of doing it. I have been immersed as a self-employed business owner since I was 19 years old at the highest fucking level. Guys, like there is no friggin' like, if you guys understand my story, you guys will sit back, there's no way, I mean, you'll sit back and be wowed by the stories that I have, because there is no lack of entertainment or no lack of stories in my story, guys, at all. But I will tell you guys that when we got there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my foot off the pedal a little bit. We had a concrete company who was doing about $14 million a year. We were selling about 50 to 60 homes a year, guys. And I told my wife, I said, you know what? I feel stagnant. I feel like we're working the business like a job, and I go, I can't continue working it like this. I feel unfulfilled. So I told my wife at that time, I said, look, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna scale this. And I asked for her, you know, and I told my wife, I don't ask for much. For my wife, she doesn't depict what I do because I've never given her a reason to. But when it comes to our family, respectfully so, I asked her, I said, hey, you know, if I go in and do this, do I have your support? Because it's gonna take some time. But if I'm gonna do this, I got one more good run in me. And at the time I was 43 years old, you know, I'm 52 years old today, and I'll tell you guys that when I go in and I did this, I told my wife, I said, hey, you know, I'm gonna need your support because it's gonna take a little bit of time to do this. But if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this shit right, I'm gonna scale it. And I didn't know what the magnitude was at that time, guys, but I just knew I was ready. And I even told her, I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna figure this out, even if I have to pay my way and buy my way to the top. So I started doing the exact same thing that everybody else is doing here. Well, I started going in looking for mentorship, I started investing in mastermind, and I started investing in myself again, because I knew that the number one thing to invest in was me. And so I went in, I gave one guy $1 million to help me, guys, $1 million. My wife, when I did it, I know she thought I was fucking crazy. She didn't say nothing because it doesn't really affect us, but I knew she thought she was using $1 million. And I said, yeah, I said, we're doing it in 2 payments. That's supposed to make her feel better. So it's supposed to make her feel better, right? Like I did $500,000 a day and $500,000 next month, you know? And guys, I paid $1 million, guys. There's not, I don't think there's anybody in this room that would be crazy enough to do that, you know? And I made it worth it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because like all these folks, guys, that are part of our community, they had a financial commitment. Each one of them paid over $10,000 to be a part of our community. And some of them have paid $30,000 to be in the masterminds and the mentorship that they went and traveled with us across the country and into other countries to be in our leadership. And they've invested and continue to invest in themselves to be a part of learning this stuff, guys. And I always tell people, guys, look, understand, like once you're a part of my community, you're a part of my community forever. But if you're not willing to invest in yourself, I'm not either. Because I need to know that I have somebody's attention, and I need to know that you're willing to invest in yourself. And I don't care what magnitude, guys, but you have to be willing to make a decision, and you yourself have to know that you're there. And if you're not there right now, it's okay. It's not that the time for you to come in and onboard for our community is not today. We don't want you as part of our community yet. We will have you a part of our community when you're there mentally. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, anytime I do one of these in any city, I usually onboard about 6 people to come in to be a part of our community. We're evolving. We have 300 members. Now, what the benefits are to be a part of our community is, one, it's a lifetime membership. Once you guys are part of our community, you're a part of our community forever. I never kick you guys out. There's no annual fees, none of that bullshit. I do it to be able to get your attention on the front end. Most people want like a monetary return on investment. They don't understand that education pays in dividends. Like what you learn today is going to pay for you the rest of your life. You guys go in and you build one house, you're not going to just stop with one house. You're going to continue building. Does that make sense? And you're going to get better at it in time. You're going to continue to even make more and more money. But the biggest thing, ladies and gentlemen, is putting yourself in a position. I'll save you $10,000 on your window package, guys. Most people misspend on their windows on spec homes. I'll send you $10,000. Now, after your window package, everything else forever is free. Okay? Does that make sense? Yep. Okay? If you want a monetary return investment. You know, I built all this stuff, guys. When I was young, in 1988, I started working at a grocery store called Smith's. It's Kroger's. It's similar to H-E-B. And I became a store manager of that store when I was a senior in high school. I lied about my age. I was 17 years old. They thought I was 18. But I became an assistant manager at the age of 18. I was responsible for $200,000 a night in tills. And at the young age of 17 years old, that was my responsibility. I knew how that grocery store ran inside and out. It's the reason I went to pharmacy school, because I was working my ass off running the grocery. And I see these guys watching football in the pharmacy. I was like, fuck, I want to that for you know? That was literally why I went to pharmacy school when I went to college, guys. And so I learned the systems and processes of how the grocery business ran. So every single business that I owned and ran and operated after that, I ran them exactly like I learned how to run those tills at the grocery store, guys. And it was that $3.85 an hour that I made back in 1988 that still pays its dividends today. He's laughing, right? Remember those days? Yeah. I worked a 40-hour week. If I broke over $100, I was like, yeah. You know, 40 hours made $100, right? But that, guys, is what carried me where I am today. Does that make sense? And for some people, they're just not there yet. And so what I need from you guys is I need you guys to be, I'll get you guys now. And so here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna bring 6 of you guys into our community to get started today. If you're not ready to get started, no problem. Questions, no problem. You guys got a link on your phone. You guys can schedule a call for tomorrow with my team and I, so that we can help you with questions that you have. And I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. But for the 6 of you guys that want to